Yo,
Yo, what's going
welcome
on?
to a very special edition of the Fine Looking Brothers
This is
podcast.
the first ever birthday cast. We are celebrating Alfringo's birthday today.
That's right. Today,
Happy birthday.
Ludovico turns 59, I believe.
I don't, I, wasn't he
I got lost
89?
track in I got
Wasn't he
lost track in
89
Oh yeah,
last
yeah,
time?
yeah. So he's in like the mid 90s right
Yeah, he's
now.
mid 90s at this point. I
Okay,
just,
so he's
I
so
just,
senile that he probably can't listen to podcasts, but this
I'm
is
sorry.
a very special podcast just for him. Well, it's
Just
for all of
for the
you.
man
You can enjoy
himself.
it, but this is a sort of our birthday gift to him. We are going to be talking about our favorite Albedo memories, talking about all the fun times we've had with
You know,
him, all the good memories, all the
because,
good times.
you
Talking
know,
about why we appreciate him, why we love him, why we hate him, why he's the best
I,
guy ever.
I know we give Gogurdo a lot of shit. But honestly, he's one of my best friends. I love Minestrone. He's my favorite.
This is gonna be an interesting podcast.
So let's just talk about some of our favorite
Wait,
Malverdo
I want
stories.
to preface this with that I am sick. I'm on a record. I've been sick for like a month. But so if I have to run to the bathroom at some point during this podcast, you'll know why.
Cool.
Okay. So
So
I think we should probably start off by talking how we each met Chimecho himself.
I think you should go first because clearly, yeah, you met Inverto a lot earlier than I did.
I did meet Umberto a lot earlier.
Inverto. That's his name.
Yeah, I don't know why I got it wrong. It's Inverno. Our good
Inverno.
friend Inverno. Anyway.
Yeah. Like I got so many good things to say about In Vitro. He's just
I'm crying. Why am I crying? We're literally just saying his name. It's not even funny. It's
yeah.
just
I
because
don't
he
even get
did
what
his
you're laughing at.
birthday.
Anyway, tell the story. You've lived next to him your
Okay,
whole life.
so in middle school, early on I kind of like didn't really have any friends, so to say. Like, for example, I remember my mom coming home and asking me after like the first day, she's like, "Did you make any friends?" I'm like, at this school, you just have your own schedule, so you don't even need to make friends." And my mom was pissed at me and said, "You need to stop being a like social retard little child. You need to shape up and you need to start making friends." So I started to sort of make like people that I would sort of I was strategic about it. I didn't do anything out of like for just the sake of having friends. I was very strategic about it. I knew I needed to make friends with fourth period people specifically because those are the people I would eat lunch with. So
Yes.
I needed someone to sit with at lunch and talk with at lunch.
Little
That's all I
autistic
needed. I
Josh
didn't care.
was very smart and very autistic.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't care what any other classes. I just needed someone to sit and enjoy my whitefish salad sandwiches with, and this like jumped around to random people. I don't even remember any of their names, and I remember Alberto. Sorry, Albedo. I don't know why I got
I didn't
add
know
the I
what
don't know
it
why I added
was.
the R in there. He did we had to do these like introduction presentations. They were kind of like about me presentations where we had to talk a little bit about ourselves, things we liked, what classes we liked, what we look forward to in this computer class, right?
So I just
So
imagine. I hold on. I want to tell you I want to tell you what I'm imagining. I imagine he walks into the front of class. He has like a blank white PowerPoint with black text that says "Insert text here," and it says Yu-Gi-Oh, and he says, "Hello, my name is Chex and I really like Yu-Gi-Oh. Anyone
That's
want a duel?"
about right. No, no, no,
What was
no.
it about?
So I cannot tell you a single thing about what his presentation looked like, the visual aesthetic of his presentation. What I can tell you is that it was a very it was pretty much just him like sucking the massive dong of our teacher just repeatedly. All he wanted to do was kiss up to this teacher, talking about how much he loves this teacher. We've been in the class for like 2 weeks. How much he loves this teacher, how much he loves this class, how it's the best class he's ever taken, and how he hopes to like succeed in this class and everything. And that was his entire presentation. That was all it was. And the teacher loved it, obviously. He ate that shit up. But I remember I was sitting with these group of like rowdy boys, and he starts walking off, and we're all like, kiss up, kiss up, kiss up. And he's like, he just gives us this like smirk, like he knew what he did. Like he was satisfied. He knew what he did. And he went, and I didn't talk to him for a while. That was just a memory I had before I became friends with him. And I remember, I think what happened is that the person I sort of like clinged on to have lunch with was out one day, and it was towards the end of like my first semester, I'd say. And Alfred Mango decides to walk up to me, and he taps me on the shoulder. I turn around, and he says, excuse me, do you like Pokemon? And I said, why yes, Chimichanga, I do like Pokemon. So he sat down, and we talked about our favorite Pokemon games, and he talked about how hyped he was for the new Pokemon Ranger sequel, and I was like, no one ever bought that game. That game doesn't exist.
I bought Pokemon Ranger. I love that game.
I said the Pokemon Ranger sequel. Pokemon Ranger is a great game, but exactly, no one ever heard of it. It doesn't exist. I think it's made of fiction, but who knows? So we talked. We had a great time. We really hit it off, and we just hit it off. And every day at lunch, we would sit next to each other and we'd talk. And I literally just, now that I made like a legitimate friend, I just abandoned every. I literally never said a single word to any of the other people that I would sit with at lunch ever again.
Good.
And I sort of had this new best friend, so to say. And winter break was coming around. It was rolling around. It was right around the alleyway, right around the corner. So I asked Al Chingo. I asked him where he lived, and he responded with the name of my community.
I almost said it. I probably shouldn't have said it.
No, I'm not gonna say the name of that community, because you kids, I know, are
you really want the Joshua Dick.
Our thousands of fans, I know how much they want my massive Android dong, but they don't get it. I'm sorry, but it's reserved for that special someone, Blake Belladonna.
I thought you were gonna say Alala. I was like, wow, that is not the way this birthday cast intended on going. But all right.
Oh God. Anyway, so he says the name of my community.
Yeah.
And how South Florida works is pretty much like you live in a gated community, which is weird for other people. Like, in other states, like, don't have that, which I didn't realize. Like, it's pretty much like a South Florida and California thing, I think. I could be wrong, but that's pretty much all I've heard of that. But like, gated communities.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are other places, but it is pretty big in our area.
Yeah. So
we live in a very rural area, a very suburban area, not rural.
Yeah. There's no tall buildings until you get to like until you get to like where your dad lives in Boca. That's when it starts getting more like
we're
metropolitan.
We lived in like the as suburban as you can get before you get like rural. Your place especially like, quite close to some farms. Yes,
we're on like the sort of border of rural and suburban. Yeah. But yeah. So I live in this like generic South Florida suburbia community, and he says he lives in the same generic South Florida suburbia community, and I'm just like,
what?
I'm like, I thought he was fucking with me. Like, I thought he was joking. I'm like, I already told you where I lived, and you're just joking with me. He's like, no, I'm serious. And my little child 6th grade self just couldn't comprehend that he might have been telling the truth. So I'm like, okay, you have to prove it to me. I said, tonight at 6:30, you have to show up outside the playground across from my street to prove that you live in my community. And he said, we said, the deal's complete, and we shook hands. And
He handed over your
6:30 rolls.
iPod.
Yes. I forwarded $200 to his PayPal account, and the deal was complete. So I wait. It is 6:30. Chimichanga is nowhere to be seen.
Wow.
He does not show up. And
He didn't chimichanga up.
He didn't chimichanga his way down that road to where he should have met me. And I was like, he's full of shit. He's an asshole, and I don't know. It turns out he literally forgot. And,
That is
he just didn't
exactly how I
remember.
expected that story to go. I was gonna make a joke about that, but
And second night, we
Forgot
try planning again. The second night, he does not show up. So I think we just ended up like, I just ended up believing him. And during winter break, he came over to my house, and I found out how close he lived. And
the rest
yeah,
is
I
history.
mean that's pretty much the origin story of my friendship with La Bamba.
Do you remember how me and him became friends? When was the first time that we ever?
I mean, I know the first time you met was probably my bar mitzvah, I'd have to say.
Well, all right, yeah, we met before, but when was like the first time?
I think it might have been like in like early 2014. Chima was having a birthday party, and I asked him. I guess I had plans with you on the same day, so I just asked him if you could come.
Okay.
It's weird to think it was that soon. You know what I mean? It was weird to think it was that late.
Which
know what I
birthday
mean?
was this? Where was
This
it?
would have had to been 2014,
Where did it happen?
like April. His house, April 2014. It wasn't a surprise. It was his plan. And so I asked him if you can come, and he said sure, that would be awesome. And I think you guys hit it off really well, so you just started getting invited to everything I got invited to. And I think the second time was when the vlog started. Like literally, I think the second time you ever hung out with Alberto was the E3, which was the second vlog.
Really?
I think
that's
so.
weird. How close
quick
the
it-
vlog syncs up with my friendship with Alola and Chimecho. I feel like we really bonded over that Troy foil sticker pull in Dragon School
Yeah,
Musical.
that was like, it's so weird to think that the Troy Foil sticker might have been only like the third or fourth time you ever hung out with Alberto.
Yeah, what the fuck? And now we're like, I couldn't think of a life without Albertron now.
Oh yeah, Albertron.
I don't.
Sorry. It's weird. He has like such a simple name. Like Albertron is such a simple name, but it's just sometimes you
Yeah,
just
I mean,
forget
like,
it.
sometimes people would just like mispronounce Albertson, and they'll be like, "What the fuck?
Yeah.
How can you not pronounce Albertson? He is the easiest name ever."
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a more common name on earth than Jesus Martinez.
I honestly, I think that might be one of the most common, right? Like, there's like Muhammad, Shah or whatever, and then there's like Keith Berto Martinez. It's probably the most like common Latino name. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Aha is not he's not a girl.
Yeah.
But he did actually
So-
actually produce Take On Me.
So, obviously, I'm gonna get into stories with him in middle school, and you're gonna get into stories with him. But what would you say is like what was like? Because you obviously wanted to continue hanging out with him after you met him the first time. So, what would you say was like your initial impression from that initial birthday party? I guess. Do you even remember this birthday party? Because I cannot remember a single
I
thing
don't
other
really
than
remember the birthday party. I remember the first couple of times hanging out before we were like close friends, and it was a little weird. And then at some point something clicked, and it was like I could do anything with Alberto.
Yeah, I think it must have clicked the time that we were all supposed to sleep over and I had to go home at the last minute.
Yeah, it
and
was
you
some
you
point after
and
that.
like I said, you can go home, and you decided to stay. I think just you and Alberto.
You know,
I mean, Albert Bingdo.
no, I think you had it right. It's short for Albertha.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's weird to think of a time in which I was not used, where it would have been weird for me to spend time with a la carte on my own.
um. Yeah. Like I mean, I met you and befriended you in third grade.
Yeah,
So, but we didn't become like best friends, I'd say, until like 11th grade.
we were always like casually family friends,
Yeah,
right?
like we always like like fell
New
back into the
Year's.
role of best friends like two or three times a year we would see each other after elementary school.
Yeah.
Like we'd fall back into that role, and I would feel like I had to impress you. So like for some reason, like I would feel like so insecure with myself that I'm like if I
Now
have
you
the
don't care. Now you
yeah,
shouldn't care. You realize that was
I'm like,
dumb.
if I have the validation and approval of Zack, I'll be all set. So I would pretend to like Call of Duty, pretend to like MLP at the time, and you'd ask me questions, and I wouldn't be able to answer them.
Because I knew you weren't.
Yeah, and I just like I was so stupid.
Who cares?
Now you should be trying to suck up to me,
Ah, shit,
because I
you're
am
right.
far superior to you in every way. I
You're just the
am,
superior human being.
yeah. So lick my balls.
Wow. Hey, did you
Anyway,
watch that Rick and Morty episode yet, Alberta? I mean, it's Alberto?
back to Bartolomeo.
Bartholomew?
Nah, I said Bartolomeo.
Bartholomew. Okay, yeah, sorry. I don't.
Yeah,
I know it's a common mispronunciation, but like
yeah,
it's
yeah. Like,
it's really easy to mispronounce Assault and Battery's name. I'm sorry if I keep doing it.
okay, okay. So I should just like do a throwback and dive into some middle school
Yeah,
stories.
because
Or,
I may have not heard this like
um,
I don't know too much of this history.
okay. I think funny things to bring up were the two fights I can remember. Um, Big Bertha may not remember some of these 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 fights, but I remember them pretty well.
Loud and clear.
Obviously, I could be having some of the details wrong, but um, this is the two times that we weren't be besties and we quarreled quite heavily. The first I remember, I don't remember anything leading up to it. I remember it was probably like a tension building between the two of us, and I think what happened is I forgot my key, and my parents weren't home from work. So, because back then, like, I was like a latchkey kid, I had to get off the bus and just go home with my key,
Latchkey kid.
which is fine. But that's what my mom used to call me when I did that. So I kind of took that. I took that as my like my blanket, my title. But anyway, so I didn't have my key, and it was like a Friday, and all I wanted to do was go home because I was so pissed at him, and he was pissed at me, and it was just this weird like tension. I don't remember what caused it. There must have been some incidents throughout the day.
Probably girl problems.
Girl troubles. I don't know. We were in the height of our pubescent stages, so probably. But yeah. So
I would never put that past you two. Somehow you
I don't
always
think we ever liked the same person.
really.
I can't remember a time where we like. I remember times where we. I don't think I ever
Even in
screwed
high
up.
school, like you and Albert Softy had disagreements over like the very few amount of female people that you knew. I feel
I
like
don't
that did
know.
happen at some point, and I had to lecture
Um.
you. I had to be like, no, please, you're tearing me apart.
Okay, we'll get to that because I don't remember what you're specifically. But back to this. It was just this tension building out the other day, and I was stuck in his house for like a couple hours, even though it was alright. All I wanted to do was be home alone, and I think I got the new Nintendo Power, and because I was subscribed back then, and I remember it was the Spirit Tracks issue.
Oh, that was a thing.
And well, I
Back when Nintendo Power was a thing.
yeah, great magazine. I would probably that's probably where I'd want to work now if I was still around. But anyway, so I was pissed. I said I'm gonna read my Nintendo Power in the corner, and Alberto does that thing where he walks up and he's like, can I see that? Can I see that for a second? You know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, can I see it for a second? I'm like, no, I'm reading. I was like pissed. I'm like, yeah, I'm reading. He's like, just give me the magazine. No. And then he starts trying to grab it out of my hands, and I try pulling it back, and we eventually start hitting each other, and we are on top of each other, punching each other, and his mom comes in and starts screaming at the both of us and makes us sit in separate corners of the room. I remember this.
That is a classic artichoke moment.
Yeah, and then we weren't like, and then like I think probably like it was one of those things where every time I'll get a previous like every time me and Horatio would fight, like it would be like a half an hour later we'd be complete best friends again, like
Exactly.
nothing ever happened.
I feel like that is a staple of the three of our friendship, in which we have had disagreements in the past, but
Bravest Warriors comic.
But all of them were resolved like within the hour, right?
Yeah, it's just like
or like
you just
or
like sort of like realize like
at most the next day. Who cares?
Yeah, at some point you just sort of realize like, hey, we're best friends. Like, wow, this is stupid.
Yeah,
and then you just stop.
To be honest, I don't think me, you, or Ask.com have literally fought in well over a couple years. It's been a couple years, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think there's been times that I've gotten pissed at you since, but I don't even know if you knew I got pissed at you. I can't remember specific examples now.
I feel like going on and off of pissed at each other is just it's just constant. That feeling is just it happens whenever you see someone too much. But the real thing is that we don't hold it against each other. Me, you, and all the small things.
Yes. Anyway, so speaking of all the small things, our second fight wasn't really a fight. It was so I was like I still am very like challenged when it comes to math. Like I have a very hard time with math. It's just a subject that I am just inherently bad at. Everyone has their thing that I'm good at. I'm good at writing. I'm horrible at math. I can do it and I can get it, but it takes me like 5 times long to understand everything.
Math is dumb. It doesn't deserve to live.
But speaking of so I was in Algebra 1 at the same time I was friends with Algebra.
You were in Algebra 1 with Algebra 1?
Yeah. So this was like, so I remember I needed tutoring because I sucked at it. So I had tutoring leading up to this test for like a month. I was studying a couple hours every day. I was like literally like determined to do well on this test because I would have probably done, if I did bad on this test, I was screwed. And back then in middle school, like a 79 was the equivalent of like a 50 today. Like, you know what I mean? Like you couldn't get, you know what I mean? Like you couldn't get C's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so I was working my ass off, and Bercio. I keep on adding this Al prefix. It's Bercio. I gotta remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
you can't just mess up Game Grape Cigarello's name like that.
You're right. So anyway.
Right. This is supposed to be a dedication to his birthday.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep on. I'm sorry, Minchongo.
I'm just gonna apologize on the behalf of and on Josh's behalf. I'm sorry, Zalgerdo. We didn't mean to.
Yeah. So he was busy playing his video games. He didn't study once, or at least he told me he didn't study once. He could have been studying behind the scenes and just not wanting to show me. but he didn't study once. He didn't tell me. He kept on saying, "Oh, it's gonna be a piece of cake." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll show you." I went in, I got a 75. He went in, he got a 95, and he would not shut up about it. And I was pissed. I wasn't pissed at him. I was just pissed that I got a bad grade. I was pissed at myself. But the fact that he kept on like making jokes about it and not shutting up about it. He's like, "Oh, I didn't even understand." Your typical orange juice feud. But like, so it just was building up, and he started like asking other people on the bus. He's like, hey, guess what? I didn't study at all, and this kid didn't. Like, he's like, what do you think happened? And he's like, I'm right, no. And he's like, I guess I'm just better than you, not. And I punched him square in the face, just boom. And there was like the like couple of seconds of silence where it's just like, did this really just happen? And then I immediately started apologizing, and we were pissed at each other for like half an hour, and then we were fine. So that's what happens when... Yeah, that's just what happens. But, yeah.
I want to talk some good memories.
Yeah, let's talk some fun memories.
Do you have any good memories?
At least we know he's not a parasite.
What do you mean? Well, I mean, he has a parasite. His Adam's apple.
Oh, true, yeah. So,
but wait, well, what do you mean he's not a parasite? oh,
Rick
yeah,
and Morty
yeah.
episode where if you know they're not parasites by if you have
yes.
bad memories of them.
He's not a poopy butthole.
So speaking of parasites, Charizard has a particularly prominent feature. He has the largest Adam's apple I have ever seen. The most prominent Adam's apple
size of a human child.
The most prominent Adam's apple I've ever seen in my entire life, to the point where whenever we see him, we have to rest our hands on his neck and have him smile. Because it is the most strangely pleasant feeling. It's borderline sexual. I don't consider myself to be gay, but
an Adam's apple is an Adam's apple.
I would fuck that Adam's apple. Thanks for watching. It's not over yet.
Yeah, it's not
How do you
over
like it so
yet.
far?
We still got more stories about art. Like the fact that he used to come and pick us up from high school.
Yeah, that's true. That's great. He used to like
those are some absolutely wonderful days, right? You remember like that sort of routine that we had where he'd come by, he'd chill in the study room, we'd leave, we'd go to my house, we'd do something, we'd go You shouldn't have been frolicking.
I literally said I do this every single Thursday like clockwork. Every week I say I'm going to go home with Alberto, and every week this means the same thing. Yet each week you are equally shocked that I am not home by the normal time.
She said okay as in she acknowledged it, but not okay as in you could do it.
Wait, well, I remember that. I forgot about that. Anyway, enough about my mother. We're here to talk about Big Mom. And
yes. We're here to talk about Alberto Air, the premium airline.
Mm-hmm.
I fly it all the time. Anyway, I would like to talk about probably my two favorite nights of my life, in ascending order.
Go.
Which both involved him, right? The first one, where we went to the University of Florida so what had happened was we came up with this plan. We're like, hey, we like me and Wawa came up with this plan. We're like, hey, we should go up to Gainesville and hang out with the Josh and the crew for a weekend before I go back to Boston. And uh, and and Smegma thought that was a great idea. So me, Jen, and McBurdos all hopped in Szechuan Alberto's car. Szechuan Alberto's car, sorry. And we went straight to Orlando, and we stopped in Orlando.
Wait, talk about the morning waking up. I always find this story hilarious.
Wait, which one is this? I'm sorry, my memory is absolutely
You were
garbage.
sleeping in Caesar's room.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, I gotta write that down. Alberto's family.
All right. This is also one of my favorite memories. So I'm sleeping in Alberto's little brother Caesar's room, and I just let it be known that previous night we did the classic night without even like thinking that we had to wake up early. So we like went out to Sonic at 2 a.m. clearly, and then came back. So we got like 4 hours or something of sleep. And
yeah.
I was very disoriented. So I'm sleeping in his brother's room, in his brother's bed, and I hear waking up. Wake up! And I did not. Albert, it was it was Walberto's morning voice. So I did not recognize it at all. And I was like, oh my god, who is that? Am I about to be murdered? Where am I? Whose bed am I in? And it turns out it was just allotrope the whole time. It wasn't even
You're right.
scary. So
that's a classic. That's a classic Alpha Mango move.
Yeah. And then we hopped in the car. We sped down to Orlando. ARPANET got pulled over for speeding, for passing a cop car without slowing down.
That's set up. He got framed.
Yeah, we didn't even get a ticket though. So why did they even frame us? So yeah, that was a great memory. That led to that night where we stayed overnight in Turlington, and that was my second favorite night of my life, and I'm very, very thankful for to Ask Reddit for letting that happen, for facilitating it happening, and facilitating a lot of really great things by being the only person able to drive.
Yeah, like that's a big point. Like now I drive. Like now I can drive. But back then when we were in high school, I could not drive. Like Al Chingo was our only car. Like Weiss was the only person we knew who could drive.
Agree.
So,
okay, agree or disagree. We would have been friends if Alberto couldn't drive, but we would not be quite as close as
whoa.
Oh,
Who
sorry.
about?
Did I? Shit, I'm sorry. I meant Argentina. If
there you go.
Yeah, all right. If
I don't know. We're just on a roll today. Like we keep on messing up his name. It's so simple. Like I don't understand why we keep on forgetting Venezuela's name.
It's just Chile. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's fucking amazing memories. Also, the
best night. You did second best.
Yeah, the best night of my life took place at Subverto's apartment not even Subverto's apartment. It was Elliot's apartment. But Sub-Zero was staying there.
They were just living in Elliot's apartment.
But no one was there, so it didn't really matter. So yeah, that was great. I love like the dysfunctionality of that whole trip, and yet it was so much fun.
Why was it dysfunctional?
Because we didn't have a key for the door, so we had to leave someone back all the time, or just close the door and hope that it didn't get robbed.
I remember Jen stayed back. I had to stay back when you guys went to the store. Yeah, I remember. That was so.
It was great. And then because we were in a college dorm, and no one was there, we were able to just fucking scream My Little Pony karaoke all night. And
is that the best night of your life?
That was the most fun I've ever had. I can't explain the joy of singing My Little Pony karaoke with friends very loud all night.
Yeah.
I can't explain the joy that gave me. So thank you, San Alberto Fault, for letting that happen.
Yeah, great great Andrea memories, but I think like yeah, probably like this is gonna sound horrible in a birthday cast dedicated to Lisa, but like I think only one of my top 3 nights involved him, which
What are your top
sounds
three
really bad
nights?
now. I'd say they're all tied. That was his name, not a cough, but yeah. So like I'd say they're all tied, but the one that like significantly like sticks out in my memory relating to him specifically was the first night of Magic City Comic Con 2015, the central theme of which was Freema's panel. So Sally Chatfield like had this panel that he was supposed to be on. He was supposed to dress up as this Homestuck character, and all weekend he was just sort of like he was in the 5 stages of grief over this panel that was
Yeah.
not going to happen. It was Saturday morning of the convention, or was it Friday morning of the convention? I can't remember.
I
One
feel
of
like
those
it was
two.
Friday
And
morning.
Friday morning of the convention, he had not yet gotten the panel. Those Supercom Mike had not yet approved the panel, and he was in the audience group, but he didn't end up getting that panel, and we convinced him not to dress up as a Homestuck character when he did not have the horns or the face paint, so it would have just been like this weird
He would have
blobby
just been
wig.
wearing the sweater and the wig.
It would have been so funny. I don't know why we didn't do it.
There is video of him in
Imagine,
this sweater. And wig.
imagine.
Why did you
Imagine
stop this?
Kakarot trying to buy like a Keyblade, like with that costume, while like talking to the guy seriously, like, oh yeah, how much is that Keyblade? Like just wearing the fucking flaccid cosplay, his hair and
Classic
sweat
cosplays.
turtleneck. It was like a red turtleneck sweater.
It was like knitted too. It's great.
But
That was
yeah,
that is a
so
classic Aston Martin
yeah.
outfit.
Yeah, so it was it was me, you, and Ashton Kutcher that day, and Red Josh, but we get to the night, and we've told the Dana Snyder story on the Con podcast, so I'm not going to dive too deep in. Long story short, Alchinka was brought onto the stage and sat for well over half the panel on stage with Dana Snyder, Guy Hutchison, the other guy.
Right,
It was crazy.
I don't want to tell the whole story again, but he walks up and someone goes, "Are you in
Yeah,
show
he
business?"
he
and,
he was asking a
and
couple of
Alabama
questions
just
before.
goes, "Yeah," and he goes, "Okay," and lets him on the stage. It was
Yeah.
great. It was a great time.
I think we should talk about a trait that it's a lot less prominent now, but I feel like it comprises a lot of the America stories that we have. Like
Yeah, I know what
it's
I know what you
his
were gonna say.
former tendency of compulsive, like frequent, avid, compulsive lying. Like even in a situation in which he would gain
I don't want to get too
no
negative,
benefit.
but it
Yeah,
has
no
caused some
benefit.
interesting
No,
stories.
This isn't supposed to be negative. This is just supposed to be funny reminiscing. Like,
Yeah, I mean
we're not,
it is
like,
pretty much like completely gone at this point.
like Art Vandelay. Like, if you're listening to this, so we're telling you this is
Honestly,
this, you
I don't think
have this
Oscar
tendency
Langley
anymore.
Sawyer made it this far into the podcast.
God,
What?
Oscar's gonna listen. Trust me. But
I don't know.
This is
maybe
a
Ray
gift
maybe
for
Ray
him.
will.
We're here for him. It's not for you. We're here for him.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, yes. So he used to have this like trait of avid compulsive lying, and this is meant to be comedic. It's not meant to be negative on him. It's a funny thing. It's not a bad thing. So So even in situations in which he could gain no possible benefit, he would compulsively lie, and I feel like it's almost like something he couldn't control. Like he wanted to tell the truth, but he just couldn't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I used to have that same issue, so I kind of know where it's coming from.
But yeah, so like one specific story that comes to mind is we were big fans of Auntie Donna at the time. We still are, and there was a skit called Crisps, and it involves a date. It involves a date, and we want no, not a date. It involves a dinner between two friends, and Alchinka was in a like I guess it was a sketch comedy show. I guess you would call it. It was a
Yeah.
play, but it was a sketch like called Check Please, in which it was divided into a bunch of skits that involve like dates gone wrong, and so
Very liberal
we
with that theme.
very liberal with that theme, and further, wasn't it revealed that they used a lot of songs in it, and
They
wasn't it revealed that
plagiarized a lot of stuff.
yeah, like every song was stolen from another musical? But some of my favorite Check Please skits include Civil War Breakup, and and and
The one where the
I don't
person fell.
know.
Was that Alberta?
Yes.
Who fell?
There was one where Alberto jumped off the stage in like
Oh
a secret
yeah.
agent one, and then Josh like hit him like in the middle of he was in the middle of the play, like he was doing an offstage scene, and Josh just like hit him on the back.
It happened.
But yeah, so we asked him to try to get Cresps into the play, as obviously as a joke. And so the next day we were gonna test him, and he comes in, and we're like, well, he picks us up. I don't know why we say he comes in. He picks us up, and we're like, did you ask? Did
He
you
picks
ask
us up
about
from
to put?
school and we harass him.
Yeah, yeah, we used to treat him like shit. We're sorry. Like I go back and watch vlogs sometimes where I treated you so horribly. Like,
Wait,
like,
but like that stuff didn't really happen off camera. But like whenever you get behind the camera, you're always like, "Oh my god, you fucking piece of human garbage! Fuck you! I hate you!" And you
yeah,
turn up the
like
camera,
I
and you
would
go,
say
"That was a
such
great shot." So
I'd say such
I feel like
horrible things to him,
we're
and
looking back at it through like some
we used to
lavender tinted
complain.
glasses.
We used to complain about him so much, like on the vlog. Like we used to sit like complain. Like I remember one time we were so mad at him because his work called him in at the last minute without telling him and made him come in. His place of employment did this out of his control, and we were just pissed because he couldn't drive us to get our Makaku City books on time. Like we're so sorry. We're so sorry, Burrito Special.
I'm
Like
I sincerely apologize, Alibaba.
like yeah, like but finishing the story, so he gets in the car, and well, we get in his car. I keep on saying it like I was in charge of the situation, even though I wasn't. So we ask him, "Did you ask to put check please in the play?" He's like, "Yeah." She said no, and I'm like, I just look at him. I do the Larry David look. I'm like, "You didn't ask her. You never asked her to put check please in the play." He's like, "Yes, I did." I'm like, "No, you didn't." I think I counted. It was like 11 times, and then he finally admitted that he never asked her. And that's the trick. That was the trick with him. You just had to. It wasn't like 3 or 4 times until he admit. You just had to keep on doing it like 10 to 15 times, and then he would admit. Like when he lost all hope that you would stop, he'd admit. Ooh, yeah, Music Man. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that time you pretended to watch Munich Man. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Munich
we were at the mall with Munich Man, and he was like, we asked him if he saw the video Munich Man, the new Rocco Bodie video, great video, go watch it, and he was like, oh yeah, I saw that movie. I mean, I saw that song, and I mean, I saw that video, and I didn't believe him for a second. He probably saw it and just forgot, because we like obsess over these videos, like unlike most people. Like He probably saw it and forgot. He was probably telling the truth when he said that. But we're like,
Yeah.
okay. We're like, okay, if you actually saw this, sing it right now. And instead of just admitting that he didn't remember or that he didn't see it, he decided out of the infinite possibilities in the universe for a melody to a song, he decided to try to guess a melody, hoping that in the one in a million infinite possibilities he would get the correct melody. And it went a little something like this. Ooh, yeah. Music Man. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And we still quote this all the time.
Mm-hmm. I also, his favorite, thank you for Freema, your favorite scene in Over the Garden Wall is when Wirt had to dance to get away from the ghosts.
Giggle at the ghost.
I feel like we're missing so much. We're missing so much.
The thing is, there are just an absolute infinite amount of things you can say about Checkmate. It's just... It really never comes to an end. But this podcast is going to have to come to an end because we don't want to hold Go-Gurdo for so long. We're at 46 minutes.
Okay, you have any like final stories to end off with, like some like big prominent ones, that some big juicy ones, like some final things to sort of end this podcast on, this special podcast for Czechoslovakia.
Yeah. We went to pretty much everything we do together is fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of whether it's shit. We've been to shit conventions together. They're fun.
Mm-hmm.
They were fun. I don't think we finally got to Rapids. It took so long. Just like
should I track the lineage of the Rapids journey?
Yeah, that's a good way to end this off, because this is something
okay.
It ends up being a great memory, but like at the time it was odd. It was a weird time for us in Alibi.
This is a Frankie Muniz centric story.
Oh fuck! I dropped my phone.
So at like early on, like I think it was like right before the school, like right around when the school year was ending, 11th grade was ending, we decided this summer, it was like with the dawn of the vlog, this summer we were going to go to Rapids. Like, even like it was gonna be me, you, Sam, and Alberto, and this was going to be a thing that we did, and this was going to be like something that we would strive for and like aim so wholeheartedly to get over the summer. We were going to go to Rapids. What was the issue? Like, why couldn't we just meet up on a day and go?
We didn't have anyone to drive us there.
Why couldn't Albo?
I think his mom didn't want him to, but eventually we grew out of that and we just went, because it's really not that far. It's like
it was like 20 something minutes away.
Yeah, it's like less than half an hour away. It's like less than the distance between our homes, right? We do that drive all the fucking time. It's just a little bit north.
So we, like, I think the first time it was gonna be after I took the ACT, and what was gonna happen is we were gonna, like, Alberto, Chingo and Sam were taking the ACT at the same school. I don't know why I can't like coherently talk right now. I'm really hungry, even though I had dinner already.
That was the first time we took the SAT, right? The ACT?
No, was it? It might have been. You weren't there.
I think I was there.
Okay, you were there. Yeah, because my dad took you home. Yeah. Okay. So we were under the impression like this was the day, and the entire time what was getting me through this test was that we were gonna go to Rapids after.
Me too.
Yeah, we were so excited to go to Rapids. We were just pushing through. Finally get out. And we get out, and we're like, okay, let's wait for Pavel. and we're sitting there, and we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting. Half an hour rolls by. My dad's getting agitated. He's like, where the hell are we? Because he was supposed to take us all home, I think. I don't remember exactly. We're waiting. Hour rolls up. I think I remember, like, Sam was, like, texting me. She's like, are we doing this? Where is Albert? I think she eventually just decided to go home and said, I guess we're not doing it. Like, yeah. So we were still waiting, and we're like, okay, we still have this hope. And then I think, how did it happen again? Like, did he respond saying we're not doing it, and, like, we never saw him? Or did he come out and say we're not doing it?
I think he probably just texted us. What did we end up doing
that night? Is it nothing? My dad literally just dropped you off, and I went home. It was all in vain. It was all excitement for nothing. That's the first part of the Rapids story. Second part of the Rapids story, we finally get a day where we all can go, rapidly declining. Me and you had a miscommunication, like, on both of our ends, where we were just like, we each didn't understand what each other thought of the situation, I guess. Like, we ended a phone call thinking we completely understood a situation that we didn't. And
I was definitely in the right, by the way.
No, hey, motherfucker. So, long story short, like, what I interpreted the situation is that Zack's mom would come pick us up and drive us to Rapids. However, what Zack meant is that his mom would drop him off and that Alberto would drive us the rest of the way. So what happened was, I was under my impression, and so I go over to Alberto and Sam, like, this is what's happening. So we get there. Zack gets out of the car, and I think we were like taking a little while to get in, and I'm just like, come on guys, we gotta go. Like his mom's waiting outside, and you were like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, your mom's waiting outside. Like, we gotta go. Like she's just waiting for us. And he's like, she left a while ago. And we're like, what do you mean she left a while ago? And you're just like, what did you think she was staying? And I'm like, wasn't she taking us to Rapids? And you're like, no, I never said that. I said she was taking us here. And we just, like, the entire thing just fell apart. We didn't have a way to get Rapids, and we didn't go to Rapids that day. We still had a great day.
I think that was still a good night.
Yeah. So, and I think you went off to work at your camp, and then Alberto is allowed to drive in the context that he is allowed to, if he can babysit his brother, I believe, at Rapids. So me and him go to Rapids completely unbeknownst to you. We betrayed you. We're sorry.
Wait.
And we went to Rapids without you, and it was really fun. But I think, like, his brother Caesar. We gotta talk about his family. That's true. That's what.
Wait, hold on. But we're not even gonna mention the part where then we went without you.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting to that.
Okay.
So it was a good day. It was fun. That was afterwards, in which Alberto Tron, yeah. I always forget the last suffix. But yeah, so he adamantly refused to believe that we passed a Tate's. And it turns out there was a Tate's. And I was right. He runs towards the Tate's, flailing his arms in a bathing
It's
suit.
weird to know that we didn't always know that Tate's North was there.
Yeah. So,
we've been there many times, and there's never anything there.
So then we didn't go. We didn't go that whole year. And then the next summer, when I was away at college, you and Shimon and Juliet went to Rapids without me. And then the Rapid trilogy concluded when we all went together at the end of that summer.
Yes, but, it all worked out.
It all worked out in the end, but there were there was a bunch of mishaps along the way, and it's the perseverance and the struggle of Chimecho.
And it turns out Rapids isn't even that great.
Hey, motherfucker.
All right, I love Rapids. But it wasn't. I don't know if it was worth this much hassle, even though it was so much fun.
To wrap up, we have Roberto has an interesting cast of characters in his family.
Yes.
His mom's probably the most normal person ever. There's nothing not normal about her. There's nothing to say about her.
She is surprisingly normal.
Yeah, and his little brother Caesar,
The greatest person on planet.
I don't think I've ever seen him with a shirt on.
Even in public.
Yeah, he just walks around with no shirt on, and a lot of times it's in underwear too. Like he'll walk around in underwear too. But that's aside from that. Like there's one time, like, oh yeah, I walked in. He's like, "Hey Josh, what's up?" I'm like, "Hey," and then I'm walking up the stairs and I hear him say, "I like Josh. He makes me hard." And
which became a common sentiment between us.
By the way, Caesar, if you did not know, you may famously know him from his role in being a little kid on a Call of Duty video where he says, "Oh, baby, a triple." Oh.
Wait, hold on. Say, "Oh, baby, a triple." Oh, baby, a triple. Oh, my God.
That's him.
Yeah, it's him.
That's him.
Confirmed.
Anyway.
Same using both of them.
Yeah.
I actually saw him and his friends playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, doing trick shots like I used to do half a decade ago.
So
I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing playing this 6-year-old game? Or whatever, whenever that game came out.
Yeah, so we use his room a lot when we sleep over at Chima's, like in transit and stuff like that. Because he does not sleep in his room. His room is just an empty room in the house. It has all his clothes and everything in there, but he does not spend any time in that room. I did find my Game of Thrones shirt in his closet. Oh no, my Led Zeppelin shirt in his closet though, like hung up. Yeah, so he either sleeps in his mom's room or sleeps at a friend's house every night. So that's pretty much our room. We took
my room was like that for a large portion of my childhood, where I just didn't sleep in there.
Where did you sleep?
I used to. You remember the loft area?
Yeah.
There used to be a bed in there, so I used to just sleep there or in the guest room. I'd like switch off. I just never slept in my room. I didn't like it.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't like the vibe. I don't know.
Okay, so Grandma Martinez,
she's
another strong.
She's the most normal, except she just doesn't speak English.
So she does not speak English, and she just kind of like pats us on the head, talks about how much she like does everything for us. She's like the sweet old grandma. Except we have come to realize that every time she is yelling at Alberto in Spanish, it is probably talking about how much of a fucking moron he is. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Every time they yell at Kwanzaa. I don't know why I said some stupid name that wasn't real.
Yeah, you're right.
We like to call
name Albertha.
Yeah, like we like to joke and call Kwanzaa some nicknames sometimes. Like,
yeah, you know what? I have a whole list of them.
Funny to change.
Can I read them off? Can I read off all of his nicknames?
Well,
because we're about to end it off. We're about an hour.
Yeah, sure. Read off all of
all right, I just like
Horatio's nicknames.
Alfringo, Gogurto, as in the yogurt in a tube, Gogurto, Minestrone, Malverdo, Inverdo, In Vitro, Chex Mix, Checkmate, Alala, Alolan Chimecho, Albertson, Keith Burdo, a la carte, Aha, that is the name for him when he sings "Take on Me," Allotrope, Game Grape, Cigarello, Alibi, Assault and Battery, Albert Softy, Articulate, Artichoke, Ask.com, All the Small Things, Aston Martin, Osaka Langley Soryu, Zalgurdo, Glalie, Art, Deviant Alberto, Alberto Air, Wawa, McBurners, Szechuaberto, San Alberto Fault, Wowberto, that's for when he's surprised, Albertha, that's for when he's a girl, Argentina, that's for when he's a country, ARPANET, that's when he predates the internet, Ask Reddit, that's when he is a website, Subverto, that's when he subverts your expectations, Sub-Zero, that's when he's a Mortal Kombat character, and Onsen, that's when he is a Japanese bathhouse. Thank you very much.
We love you. We love you, Alberto.
I love
Happy
you.
birthday.
Bye. Good night.